Alright.
Alright. G'day everyone, welcome to episode 54.
Sure it's 54? Let me check.
I'm pretty sure it's 54. We're going to change the format slightly for you. We're going to talk to Max about his World Cup endeavours and results over the last few weeks. And we're going to talk about some brand new shiny embargoed hubs that no one has seen. Wow, unless you've got...
I thought they were profile hubs. Not embargo hubs. So. Anyway, back soon.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time.
And like and subscribe, make sure you hit the post notifications. You are now watching ECITV.
Thank you.
I'll be watching.
Alright, so Max, you just got back this week from a pretty big trip. Do you want to tell us about where you've been?
Yeah, so it was 6 weeks away. We did 2 weeks Tulsa, 2 weeks in Scotland, and then 2 weeks in the Netherlands, Papendal. So USA BMX round to sort of start us off, and then did World Cup in Scotland, a Euro round in the Netherlands, and then the World Cup in the Netherlands.
So how is the Tulsa track? That was the first race they'd had on it.
Yeah, it was cool. It's amazing, the facility, like the roof on it, and the roof pretty much extends about 10 meters every side of it. So, and it's dug out, so it's all concrete around the edge of it. You know, you've probably seen the walls down the first and last straight. But it was raining when we first got there. Made no difference. We still, the only thing was your tyres got a little bit wet from where we were sitting to getting on the track. And it was really windy one day. We were driving to the track and we were just like, oh, here we go. We'll see how it is. But like, couldn't feel the wind at all. So yeah, the facility is amazing. 8 meter hill, fast track, and yeah, good turns. We were hooked around as soon as we got there.
For a USA BMX track, it looked like a different facility. It looked more like a UCI track. Is that how it felt? Yeah,
pretty much. Like, it still had the the USA BMX sort of, I guess, third straight. Like it was like you're just hooking and all those rollers, and it's kind of, like you've seen at the Grands when people are manualing through the straights and all that sort of thing. But yeah, it is a full big first jump, and it was gnarly, and it was catching a few people out. So it's cool to have a track like that over in America.
What about those corners? That looked a little hairy.
Yeah, my hand will tell you about that. It's the first turn was really good. The second turn was a bit, and you had to be a bit patient with it. As I crashed twice on it in about 4 runs, and then in one of my videos you see I could see there was people just going everywhere, and if you try to dive up the inside, it was there was a bit of an issue. So I think one guy went under, and then they all just simultaneously slid out, and I was just left with nowhere to go.
So what about the format now that there's no AA and single A Pro in the US? It's basically a Pro Open, isn't it?
Mm.
So what do you think of the format of the A and B finals? How does that work for you as a rider?
Yeah, it was cool. Like, it's just another lap. Like, I went over there to get race experience, and not in a traditional sense, my day would have been done, but then you got another lap. So if you make it to the semi-finals, then you get you always get your final, and it's just like those dudes are all going to be moving because they're 8 to 16, so 9 to 16. So yeah, it's just another lap, and it's just more experience, and that's what I go over to America to do.
Is there much money for the 9 to 16?
I think it's because I crashed on the first day and didn't do the B final and got no money, so I would have got 8th in the B final, so no money, and then I got 2nd, so I got money for that. So maybe 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, something along those lines. But when you pay for your own entry fees, it's gone, and you get a bit of money back, and it's still
So the entry fees are about $60. Are they more than that?
$500 for
What?
2 days.
Are you kidding?
500 US
Wow.
for 2 days.
Or 500 Australian. I think
For 2 days.
I think it's about $200 for 2 days. So
Jesus.
yeah, going over there, and World Cups is, we don't know about those either.
Wow. Did you have to have an international license to race Tulsa?
No, so you need to buy a USA BMX license because they're now no longer, they run their own. That's why they.
So no affiliation with the UCI?
No, they do a UCI race on the Sunday. So I think if you flew over there, as you'd have to get both, I had to get an international license for the World Cups, but yeah, you need to buy USA. So Wade and I got to the desk and both had to renew licenses and do that. So the joys.
Did you manage to check out the facility? Like they got the Hall of Fame there. Did you?
Yeah, so we did a tour around it, and it's pretty cool to see. Like they've got a massive wall of all the jerseys and all the old bikes, and it's the newer like Olympic like Connor's bike and Elise's and Kyle Bennett's I think is there. So yeah, it's amazing to see because I think it was all sort of hidden away in Arizona before, and like I'd never seen half of that stuff, so it was cool to be able to see it all.
I thought they had it at Chula Vista.
Some of it was Chula Vista, and like because that's where we asked where like some of it, but I think there's still maybe a little bit of stuff there, and then because that's no longer an Olympic training facility, that's just run by the city of Chula Vista.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
God, makes it worthwhile going to Tulsa just to see that.
Yeah.
Just to see all that,
doesn't it?
you know, that old school stuff, and they've got like drag bike, like you know the downhill bikes.
The GPVs.
Yeah.
Gravity powered vehicles. Do you remember those?
Yeah, I do. Actually, yeah.
They still kick around from time to time here in Melbourne, down Mornington way.
Yeah, I've seen. Was it Luke Cristiano doing some of that stuff? Yeah, that's great. Like, wouldn't catch me doing that. It's too fast for me.
Did you have some questions and
I mean, I've got a million questions. But like, one thing I liked about your whole trip is that you had so many edits and you was popping them up on YouTube like almost weekly. So it's almost like I felt like I'd been on a trip with you. But you had some pretty savage luck at Tulsa. Like the first set crash that looks gnarly from both angles, the straight or your GoPro and stuff like that. And then the bulldozing.
Both incidents.
Journey.
Yeah, well that was the goal. Like I started doing the videos when I was up for the Oceanas because I was filming heaps of stuff and it's like, what do I do with all this? Like, you know, normally I would make a little 1 minute video for Instagram, but I was like, there's too much talking and it's not going to work. So I was like, oh, I'll just put it on YouTube and see what everyone thinks. And then got all the, like I was allowed to run the GoPro in America, not allowed to run at the World Cups, but like all that footage is, you know, it's pretty cool to see, see what happens and see the racing, and it's like, unfortunately got caught up in a couple of crashes, and, you know, like, my second day riding the track, I slid out twice, smashed into my hand, so I was nursing that injury, and then, like, get on the gate, and, it was the quarterfinal, I just didn't get out well, and 5 guys going into, I guess, 2 spaces doesn't work, so then I crash, and the boa was hanging off my shoe when I got up, but it's a 5-man quarterfinal, so you just got to beat one guy, so I got up, saw there was another guy on the ground. It's like, here we go. So I raced, and then we're going down the 3rd straight, and I could hear Grindle, the commentator, yelling, and I'm like, oh, he's coming. And so he just smashed into my rear end in the last turn. I'm like, man, like, we almost had 2 crashes in a lap. So then I got up for the semi-final, and I was, like, lane 8 and just hurting. And it's like, just didn't go well after that.
That last turn pass or move, was that the B final with Rico and
day 2. So that was like, I was in 4th and I was like, oh, what am I doing? Like, I just need to do something. So I just hit the last turn and turned as hard as I could, and before you know, I was leading, and I'm like, what am I doing? And I was like going down the last straight, and my legs are hurt. Like, it was, you know, that was day 2, so your legs are burning, and then I'm like, oh, and then I heard, like, Villegas just hit the ground so hard. Like, he's, I think he did his collarbone or shoulder, like, he hit real hard. And I'm just trying to get over the rollers and just trying to get to the line. And then I could feel Rico coming, and I saw him, and it was just like, it was just funny because I was, you know, in 4th trying to maybe go for 3rd, and then I was leading, and I was like, you know.
You just found the perfect slot, man.
Yeah, it just worked out well.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, like, you know, you guys cross the line and Rico looks at you and you guys are laughing and shit like that. And that's what all your edits were like. It wasn't just like you, but the you know, your whole camp you train with and stuff like that. And it's just a good insight to see.
Yeah, you know. That's the thing, like, we go on these trips and it's like, you know, my World Cup results, and even, you know, I would have liked to make a final in America, so it's like the results weren't the best, but it's like the trip is still awesome, and it's like, you know, you can't take that away. Like, that's always going to, like, every trip that I feel like I've done has been like that, but it's like, you got to show, like, we're racing BMX bikes all around the world. Like, we went, you know, in America to Europe. It's a pretty awesome experience. So, you know, it's kind of just get to show, what we do, and how, like, how lucky we really are to do it.
Yeah. So then how did you feel going from Tulsa and feeling sore, obviously, to then going to a World Cup?
Well, it was like that Scotland track is full on. So that was, you know, it was like, go from there, and it's like, you know, the Tulsa is, I feel like, almost the way that Supercross tracks are going, kind of a little bit mellower, and you know the first jump was big at Tulsa, but then you get to Scotland, and those lips were just in your face and aggressive, and it was like, here we go, we're going to race.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool, like that, you know, the second straight, it was, like, I feel like so much of the time now we're just pushing through as hard as we can through jumps.
Yeah.
But that second straight, you're actually lifting over it, and there was a big booming triple into the first turn, and it was like, felt like we were racing Supercross. Like you know, that's what Supercross is. So it was awesome to be able to get on that track, and you know, it was gravel, and you know they had to water it and they had to whack-a-packer it in, and it was, you know, it felt like
Next level.
The next level, yeah.
It was weird watching all sorts of racing. Like there's, you know, people from all over around the world you watch, and there's sometimes people just look like amateurs. You know, just going, that's how gnarly that track must be. You know, like, especially coming to that first turn, that quad or triple, whatever it is. I mean, there's even a clip of Isaac getting all what?
Yeah.
You know, going, what's going on? You know?
And that's how it felt. Like it was like the track to ride it at, you know, 80%. It felt like amazing, and then you just up that wick that little bit more, and it was like, here we go. You got to be perfect, and it's like that's a World Cup in a nutshell. Is, you know, your first round is your 8th, and then or the 16th, and then, you know, your next lap's your 1/8 final, and you know that's the, you know, the top 30-40 dudes in the world, and it's like, you know, you got to be on it, and one mistake and it's just game over.
Yeah.
Was that your first World Cup since they were here in Australia?
Yeah. So since Shepherd's.
How'd the crowd compare?
Well, yeah, they actually had a good crowd. Like, Papendale was huge because they have the festival next door. But yeah, like Glasgow was pretty cool because I guess since Manchester they haven't really had one in the UK. So few people, there was like buses of people that were all coming up for it. So, and then whenever the GB people got called out, like they were getting a good reception, which was pretty cool.
What about going back to Tulsa? I watched a bit of the live feed footage, and it didn't look like there was a crowd there. Was there actually a normal, everyday crowd?
No, I think that was just the BMX, like the parents and the races. Like there's like bleachers all along the last straight, but I think it was just all whoever was there. Like we were there for 2 weeks or a week and a half before it, and there's no signage or anything really around. Okay. So everyone knew about the facility, and everyone was like hyped on it because I guess they're putting a lot of money into sport, and they're really trying to hype up that facility, but they weren't. I'm not sure if they actually knew that the race was on.
Seems funny that they wouldn't promote it. Like, is that much racing going on over there that it's just?
Maybe it's just that's like they're just used to it, and because it was just another USA BMX race. It's big. Race, it's big for us because it's a Supercross and all that sort of thing. But even like we were in Glasgow and no one knew that the race was in Glasgow. Like there's no sign. It's crazy. Like we talk to people. Oh, what are you here for? Oh, we're here to race a BMX World Cup. Where are you doing that? And it's like, Knightswood Park, and they're like, oh, cool, yeah, no, we've seen that track. Like they, they do some, like they did like a community group or something there. That's what everyone knew the track as, not the track that they're about to race a World Cup on.
Geez, you see the promotion they put through in Australia when you have World Cup, events here and everything.
The signs
and you just presume that that's what's going on around the world, but they obviously don't rate it as high as what we do here in Australia or something.
Yeah, I guess we hadn't had one since 2009, so it was just the be all and end all for us.
No. So that's where they're having the Worlds next year, aren't they? Glasgow?
Yeah, so they're having every cycling discipline all in one.
Is it just the elite classes though?
Oh, I'm not sure about that. Maybe.
Never mind. I don't know why I thought that.
But
you just make stuff up on the
I think they're doing a few. They said that they're doing a few track changes.
They've only had one other major event there, I believe, like either a Euro Cup or some kind of
the Euro Champs.
Oh, it was?
I think it was the Euro Champs because that's I was the same. I was looking up videos trying to find people riding it. It's the one that Kyle Evans won. So I'm pretty sure it was that Euro, the Euro Champs. And it was, I think that race was a couple of years before it, so it's just, sort of set up there, and I think, the GB guys are pretty lucky to have that. I think it's 2 hours from Manchester, so, have that in their backyard's pretty cool.
So that's another thing too, like, apart from personally learning things that you need for racing and stuff like that, is there things you see that Australia needs to do for its sport in general?
I think it's just like the racing. Like we've been like, or I feel like I've been deprived of racing at that level, and that was kind of I priced it up last year, during Australia's main thing of COVID, and it was just crazy expensive. So to get back on that scene is just that's what you need to do. Like it's there's no substitute for just getting on the gate and just racing those guys, because it's like I was a little bit shocked. Like I thought I was a little bit further ahead than I was, and I got over there and I was like, oh no, these dudes are moving. These guys, it's the best in the world. They're all Olympians. They're all, they're the fastest guys to race BMX bikes. And so, we've just got to remember that and, really respect what the sport is and how fast these guys are going. And I think that's, that's what I took away from it. And it's like, got to go out there and really put in the work and give it another crack and see what we can do.
Do you see any sort of like, I suppose, drag on from like us having a couple of years of lockdown and stuff like that, where we haven't raced, but most of the world has kept going?
Yeah.
Do you feel that played into it at all?
I think a little bit. Like it's we just haven't had that that world competition, and it was like I feel like I definitely felt it personally. So I guess the other boys maybe a little bit, or maybe it was just me, but it's kind of it's been since 2020 to get on that gate, and that like it's it's a different, like World Cups are a different format. We're sort of used to 3 motos. You kind of you don't ease into it, but you can sort of you can mess up one lap, whereas that's like your first lap, and then your second you can mess your first lap up and go to the LCQ, but still you're in an LCQ where guys are make or break, and then the rest of the day is literally top 4, or you're sitting in the stands watching.
Crazy.
So but it's the pinnacle. That's what that's what you go over there for. And you hope it's a good level. Like I think Isaac makes it look very easy, and he just he kind of just showed up and did gets podiums and does that stuff, and you're like, it makes it look pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
I heard you talking previously in regards to the supports that some of the other countries get and everything. Is there a big difference between the support shown to Australian riders as opposed to other countries and the facilities that are set up for them at race meetings like that?
Yeah, like I can tell you where we were sitting in the out the back, because that's Australia had its team, and that's what they did. So I know a lot of the other countries, well, they all have the programs, and they have all got everything sort of sorted, and we
So you can see a lot of improvement that Australia can adopt what you've seen over there.
That's like I don't speak on the budget or anything like that, and it's kind of it's hard for us because it's what comes first, the chicken or the egg. Like we need results to get funding, but
you need funding to get results.
So it's it's like this cycle, and it's like that's why I had to work to get some money to go over and do these races, and it's like now I've sort of set myself up. Hopefully, I can take this next 8 weeks to really knuckle down, and then go back overseas and see if I can make it happen in Colombia. And that's, that's the way I'm going to go about it. And I think that's just what we have to do. I think there's probably, we can say that we're hard done by, but there's probably a lot of other countries that are,
a lot worse off.
A lot worse off, and don't even, like, because we were sitting next to the individual, like, the people that don't have tents, and that, there is a, the Brazils and the other country, I think Argentina was sitting in there too. So there is countries that are probably, pretty like, well, maybe, some of them have tracks that aren't up to scratch or whatever it is. So it's like, at least we have all the facilities, and we, if you do start, doing really well, then it is all funded. Like, there was a funded team there. It was just not it wasn't the whole thing. So it's like, if you can get yourself in the mix, then, then I think it's good. So it's just, you show the result, and you'll get the support. So
I mean, it's a lot of commitment shown by individuals like you when you consider the cost out of. I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what sort of cost were you looking at for that 6-week period out of your pocket? And I know you get some support, but very minor compared to what it would have cost you. So
probably,
what do you think you spent for that experience?
10 to 15 grand for 6 weeks. It's because that's. And like the entries is it's like $380 to enter for a World Cup.
Yeah.
So that's like 2 of them. Euro round's 150, about $500 for USA BMX. Then you've got $500 or $5,000 worth of flights, pretty much, to get, you know, because it was Sydney, or I had to fly to Sydney, and then Sydney to America, or LA, and then through to Tulsa, and then across to Europe, and then back home. So you know, you're going all the way around the world. And then you've got hotels, rental cars, food, because you know we have Airbnbs to try and make it a little bit cheaper. But you know, you finish a track session and you're starving, so you go out and eat, and it's like, you know,
it's all takeaway type. And
you can do it
you
can do it super cheap, but then it's like at the cost of
performance.
The cost of performance, and just, you know, going hungry. So it's, you know, like it all sort of adds up very quickly when you start doing it like that.
Was the Euro Cup round planned before you went over?
Yeah, so that was like the reason that I went over was just to race experience and just get as much racing as I could. So that's like, I saw that block and it was, you know, that's why I started in Tulsa, because it's like, you know, you're going all the way around the world, you may as well stop in, you know, it's the other way around the world, but it's still, you know, you get another race in and just get that experience, because it's like, I knew I was lacking in the race experience, so it was just do as much as we can and just try and get as many laps as we can in around these, you know, these world-class athletes.
Yeah, and that was this, like, I came in, I think, on the Monday, and I'd just seen Kai White's post, and I came in and said to Gary, I said, "Watch this, that's Max." And it was the Saturday main, and you made the main on the Sunday as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
So what'd you get, 4th and a 6th?
Yeah, 4th and a 6th.
That's awesome, man. Like,
Yeah,
I was pumped on that, you know, for you. And not only that, but your track speed just looked awesome, you know?
Yeah, and that, you know, that was kind of the, I guess, the saving grace of the Europe trip, because it's like, you know, the World Cups didn't go as planned, and it's like, you know, did show a little bit of a flash, so it's like, you know, you can look at that, and it's like, you know, it was cool to, you know, get in that and be able to see that it might, you know, maybe if I just get a bit quicker down the hill, then I can actually do it, because, you know, there was a few more, like, there wasn't as many people racing the Euro Cup, so a few holes, but still the fast dudes were in it, so it's like, you know...
the guys that were in front of you were the same guys racing the World Cups.
Yeah, that's it.
So, and they'll, you know, well, Kai White, he's not a slow dude, is he? So, no, it was awesome to see, you know, you're having some good lunges, and, I mean, I was just pumped. You know, I think it's one of those things, like, when I saw any Aussie guys, and mainly you, because, like, you know, I see it at the local tracks and, you know, gate nights and stuff like that. So it's when you see someone you know and being successful at that sort of level, you get, you know, I don't know, is it patriotism or whatever it is?
Hyped up.
You know,
Stalking.
You do.
Stalking.
No, I don't know.
I feel like Ryan's going to pull out a texter and society boom.
You know, I just realised I'm just taking doses. I've just been, now I'm that weird guy again.
Again. Yeah. So your training schedule now, you were telling me before that you've got a fairly intense period coming up as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to go up to Sydney this weekend.
Yep.
Stay with Andy Hughes
Well,
up there.
might be actually last weekend. By the time
Oh,
this goes
yeah, last weekend. So I'll be up there. And just, knuckle down. Because that's what I sort of have taken away from being away. Like, being away is just, all those dudes are, you know, they're full-time and they're, you know, they're super fast, and every session is with intent, and it's like, you know, as hard as I was training, it's still after an 8-hour workday.
Yeah,
and, you know, even if it's in a digger or if it's, you know, on a rake, whatever I'm doing, it's like, you know, it's still at 5 o'clock, driving, exhausted, you know, trying to get food in, trying to do that stuff, whereas I'm going to go there and just be 100% all in. And it's a, you know, it's a nice block to do a bit of a rebuild on myself, and then have another crack at it. It's another USA round, and then another 2 World Cups, and then USA round on the back of it. So it's like...
So how much time are you allocating for that intense training period?
So there's 9 weeks before the race. So yeah, just kind of just knuckle down and just really, you know, I've got a lot more respect for time and time management now that I've actually had a job for, you know, had a job for 2 years and worked full time and had to manage work and training and, you know, going to races and that sort of stuff. So it's like now I think, well, I hope that I can, you know, use that knowledge of just, you know, it's tough when you know, waking up at, you know, you wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock to go to work, and then you work all day and then you train. It's like, it's such a luxury that I definitely took for granted before, because it was just, you know, I finished
Yeah.
school and I was always going to be a BMX racer, and that was, you know, like what I was going to do, and I'd work here and there, but it was always just, you know, a couple of days.
Yeah.
But now it's like, this is what I want to do. I want to, you know, get some good results, and, you know, this is how I feel like I have to do it to, you know, get the results. So just have a crack at it.
And this will be at the Super School of Mr. Dwight.
Super school. Sprint
Okay.
block. He just
Spring
built
block,
a
Mr. Dwight.
exactly. So he just built a gym up in Sydney.
Okay.
So he's just furnished that whole thing up, and then they've got that Supercross track at Macarthur that was underwater. So hopefully Tristan.
So sorry, the gym. Let's go back to that for
Yep.
a little bit. The gym, is that a public gym, or is this a gym that's specifically for BMX training, or
So
private?
I think
facility?
it's in a public gym. He's got his own space, which
Right.
is going to be like a bit of a high performance center.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, I'm not sure if it's upon request or
Yeah.
how you actually get in.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, it's got the best stuff, and he's
Perfect.
spared no expense to make this, you know, a facility of, you know, to be able to have us come up and train and, you know, do seminars or whatever, you know, really just grow, like, you know, he's got that wealth
Geez,
of
he's really stepped it up, hasn't he?
that wealth
That's
of
fantastic.
knowledge, and to, you know, to have a place that, you know, you can showcase all, you know, what can be done really.
The new AIS of BMX, is it?
Exactly, the Sean Dwight High Performance Centre.
So is Andy going to be training intensely with you over the next 9 weeks as well, or is he just housing you?
Well, I want him to be training with me, so I want him to be as a training partner, but he's still, like, he's got his own business doing detailing, so hopefully he can, you know, schedule his stuff around, and we can make it work and do it like that, because, you know, he's a super fast rider that has, you know, he's stayed in Australia, and he's sort of rebuilding himself at the moment as well. So, you know, if I can get him to be going super quick, like he's got the speed, and, you know, I think it was 2019 when we did the sort of same thing, and he was on the Wednesday of the Oceanias or whatever, the round 5, whatever the national series, he was fastest qualifier, lane 1, and just got a bit caught up, and Isaac ended up winning. But it's like, you know, he can go that world class speed, so.
Will he travel with you on your next trip?
Hope so. I'm, you know, I want him to, you know, I know how good he can be, so I want him to, you know, meet his full potential. So hopefully, you know, he said he was going to stay in Australia for the whole 12 months, but if, you know, I think if he's going quick, it'd be a sick trip to go and do, and it's, you know, it's, in relative terms, it's easy because you fly into America, you do an American race, you go down to Colombia, back to America and home. So it's not like you have to go to Europe and, you know, do all that sort of thing. So America's quite easy, you know, just with cars, and, you know, everyone's, you know, they speak English. So, you know, sometimes, you know, the language barrier and stuff gets hard, but, you know, that'll be quite a, you know, an easier trip.
So Glasgow, they speak English too, don't they?
No. The first we landed, and we got in the taxi, and there was a bit of plastic between us, but he was talking at us, and I didn't know what he was saying. And I was looking at Wade, and it was something football, and there was like the whatever cup, there was like the B League of that, the final, and the Glasgow was in it, but there's 2 teams in Glasgow, and he didn't like the team, and it was just I'm just listening like. Yes, maybe. I was like, I think he doesn't like the team, and they talk, and it's like, you know, I think it's, you know, maybe if English people listen to a really bogan Australian talk, I think it's like that times 2.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's just, especially when they get on a roll, it's not English. That's pretty funny.
I'm out of questions here.
No, I'm pretty cool.
We haven't even got to Papendale yet.
Oh, yeah. You're Richard.
You just stopped at the Euros.
Alright, well, you're on the ball. What's
Okay,
next?
well, okay, so as far as the Olympics channel coverage, we didn't see you in the quarters or semis.
Yep.
So, how'd your weekend go, mate?
Yeah, so it was just one of the, like, I feel just wasn't quick enough down the front straight.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you pretty much always start in, you know, I'm outside because of the ranking, so it's like, you know, you start in lane 5 or 6, and then if you're not quick enough down the front straight, you've got to start making moves.
Yeah.
So then, like, first round you make a move, and then you get in, and then it's like your next round's the 1/8, and just not quick enough. Like, straight up,
Yeah.
that's how I felt. I just wasn't quick enough to get in the right position, and then you're just battling, and I think it was hard because it's like, if I had have done everything right, and then you get to the next round, and then you're struggling again. Like, it was a tough mentality to be in.
Yeah.
So I was trying as hard as I could, and, like, you know, I was telling myself before day 2, because it was like, you know, it had, like, I went out, got 5th in the 8, so, you know, lunge to the line, get 5th, and it's like, you know, damn, come back tomorrow, have a go, and I'm like, it's wreckers or wreckers or checkers today. Like, I just want to be as aggressive as I can, and either going to crash or I'm going to make it through. And it's like, you know, it's just, the speed was so quick, and I, you know, went for a move, and then I'm pretty sure the 3 guys in front of me all made the main. So it's like, you know, those dudes are going quick.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's just a pace, and it's like, I think if I can start with them, I can go the speed, but to, you know, to pass 4 dudes every lap is, you know, it's not gonna go right one at the time. So that, you know, that's just how it happened. And I guess there was, none of my laps had a crash in it. So, you know, sometimes you might get a bit of luck and a bit of confidence come from it, but it was just like, I feel like I just got beaten.
And they were just on another level.
Yeah, just another, and that's, you know, I think I definitely took it for granted. I definitely, you know, I thought I was doing all, you know, you're doing all the work and you're training really hard, and it's like, you realise later on, it's like, I was doing the work, but yeah, just that, you know, leaving work and getting on the track and doing gates or doing everything, it's like, as much as you tell yourself you're on it, you're still, you know, 9 hours into a day.
I think you explained it before, that it was like turning up to Le Mans in a V8 supercar.
Yeah, turning up with the hypercars and, you know, R8s and a V8 supercar. Like, it's a good, you know, it's a good car, but
good car, but
just
not at Le Mans.
Yeah, not at Le Mans. So yeah, that's, you know, that's how I felt, and it was a bit of a, you know, a rude wake up call, but it was like, you know, that's what I needed to do, and
it could give you the drive you need, which is hence why you're going up to Mr. Dwight.
That's it, and that, you know, that's how I feel. Like, you know, if I had have stayed home and done another bit of training and kept on the same path, I would have got to the next one, and the same, you know, I think the same thing would happen. So it's like, you need that, you know, that kick in the guts, and, you know, to get knocked down and get back up and just keep going, because I think that's, you don't know unless you do it, really. And you can watch on, you know, I've had, you know, injuries and stuff in the past, and you watch World Cups and you're like, oh, I reckon I would have done well here and there. It's like, you never know until you're out there, until, you know, those nerves of walking up the hill, and, you know, it's being aggressive, and, you know, it's crazy, like, because the World Cups is all off your times and your transponders. So if you have, like, you know, Isaac is trying to lunge the line every single lap to get lane 1, and it's like, you know, sometimes something happens, and then you're in lane 2 or 3, and it's like, I'm on the other end of it, where I'm trying to make it through the qualifications, and then you don't get a good lap time, and then you're lane 8.
Yeah.
So, you know, it gets tough when, you know, that sort of stuff happens. Then you're on the outside, and then you're racing from the outside again.
Yeah. Crazy.
So hopefully after Colombia,
it's a credit to you, the fact that you've gone over there to experience that. You've come back. You've identified, you know, where you are, and now you, instead of sort of not giving up, but almost turn around and saying, well, you know, that's it. That you've now turned around and said, okay, now I know what I've got to do. Let's concentrate for the next 6 weeks, and then go, you know, flat out again. So that's great. That's a credit to you.
Yeah, hopefully I can come back after Colombia and have some positive stuff to talk about, and, you know, be stoked and be cheering and fist pumping and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's just, you know, it's BMX, and that's the lessons you learn, and I think that's, you know, sport's the great equalizer, and it kind of, it humbles you super quickly. Like, you know, you can be doing well at the, you know, the national level, and you get over there, and it's like, oh yeah, right.
There's other fast dudes.
There is other fast dudes that are all, you know, you know, as much as it is our lives, and, you know, we care about BMX so much, it's like there's a whole group of people that care the same amount over in America, over in Europe, everywhere. So it's like, you know, it's a big community that everyone is, you know, striving to be the best.
That's awesome.
So what are your thoughts on Colombia and having 2 rounds one weekend and followed up by another 2 rounds the following weekend. Do you think it's a good thing to be at the one track for 2 weeks? Like, I mean, if you kick off the weekend on a bit of a downer the first week, does it give you enough time to sort of come back from that in the second week?
I think, like, it's, you know, if you're going to go all that way, it'd be, you know, it's better to have 2 than to have 1. Like, you know, if we flew all the way around the world for just the 1, I think it's kind of, you're like, oh, it's, you know, it's a bit rough. But it's like, even, you know, like, I knew as soon as I got pretty much to America and then definitely to Glasgow that I wasn't quick enough. There's nothing you can do when you know, if you're not going fast when you get there, doesn't matter if it's a month or if it's, you know, back-to-back weekends, it's like, there's not much you can do. So it's like, I think it's just one of those things, yeah, if you show up and you're not going fast, it's, you know, it's going to be a rough go. So, you know, that's why you really got to show up feeling good, and then try and, you know, set a precedent straight away, which is, you know, that's like the big thing that I tried to do at the Euro Cup was we had an hour of practice on Friday and then we're racing Saturday. So it's like, just set the precedent early, and like, you know, my second run down the second straight, I was already trying to pass a Suma, and we're trying to race and going hard because that's, you know, we're about to go to battle the next day. So it's like, you just got to, you know, set that tone early. So I think it'd be the same sort of thing in Colombia, is just get there and just get ready, because it's going to be a fight for, you know, pretty much 2 weeks of just going as hard as you can with everyone.
Australia's got a whole bunch of amateurs and a couple of pros going over to the World Championships soon. Do you have any words for those guys that may not have travelled over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, is just enjoy it. Like, the amateurs, like, you know, I've got a kid that I coach, Freddie, that, you know, will help out a little bit, and, you know, I was talking to him about it last night. It's like, it's such an awesome experience to go to the Worlds. You get to put on the Australian jersey, you get to go out there, and it's just, you know, it's like the World Cups. It's a completely different thing. Like, you know, you sit in these shoots and you get, like, I think it's, you know, 2 or 3 laps of practice, or, you know, like, it's such a, you know, it's not your normal experience, and it's just take it all in. And I think, you know, the staff, they're always pretty good with, you know, they go out and they check, and you're gonna get 3 laps, so you just have to go, you know, from the get go, like, you know, like I said, set the precedent early and just go straight away, because it's, you know, before you know it, it's over. Like, I did when I was in 13 boys, because it was in Adelaide, and then flew over to Birmingham. Same thing, just wasn't quite ready. Hadn't done a last straight yet. So came out of the last straight from first moto, jumped from the step up, and just landed on the next jump on the roller, and my bike I exploded. My bike went across the finish line, and it's like, you know, something as small as that is just, you know, I'd done last straights, but not at 100%, because it was such a short period of time. But, you know, it's the World Championships. It's the, you know, the pinnacle, and, you know, it's cool that the kids get to go out there and experience that, and, like, you know, the nerves are just, you know, crazy. You're sitting there and everyone's in their jerseys, and, you know, especially for the amateurs, you sit in the gates for so long, and by the time you get up the hill, it's like, you know, you see all the people and everyone's there, and it's like, it's the first time that sort of thing happens. So it's such a cool experience that, you know, you can't take it, you know.
You were talking about the jerseys before. I heard you talking to Ryan about it when I was working, and you were saying how you noticed that when you put on the national jersey, the Australia jersey, that it actually lifts you. That
100%,
that you noticed that was it with Isaac or someone you were talking about? I only picked up bits and pieces of it, but. But yeah, it actually, I think Isaac was the one who was telling you about it, that it actually just does lift you and make you give that extra 5 or 10% because you're representing the country, as opposed to just racing in your sponsor's jersey.
Yeah, that's it. And I think it's just that sense of pride. Like, you know, everyone is so, you know, like Ryan was saying, you cheer for the Australians. Like, you know, you watch the Olympics and it's like, you know, it could be, you know, canoeing or whatever the sport is. As long as they're Australian, you love it. And it's like, to be that person, to be the Australian that, you know, is representing the country, and to, you know, to have that jersey on is just so, like, it's so special. So I think it's, you know, it does raise your level, and it makes you want to, you know, do well, because it's, you know, you're representing the whole country, and it's like, you know, BMX in Australia, and you want to, you know, raise that level, and it's like, you know, it is, ours is so, you know, especially, I'm not sure if the amateurs get to wear the, you know, the white, like it's so distinctive, and it just makes you feel good.
No, I've never considered that before. Like, obviously, you see the Australians and everything, and in their jerseys, and you want to follow them and everything, but you don't picture the other side of it where they put it on and it lifts them and lifts their ability and everything. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's so
Well,
like
look at it.
it's so cool.
Oh. Sorry, I thought I hung up. I answered it. Excuse me.
What was that you said to me last time? I got
Oh
a phone
yeah,
call?
okay, yeah. Okay, my shout. Yes, I know. I accidentally spoke to you.
So we have covered everything with Max.
Yeah, no, I'm happy now. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it's been a good catch up though. It's glad we've been able to grab you between competing and training while you're in Victoria for that short period to be able to sit down and have a chat to you.
Before I go into hibernation,
That's it.
I'll go full Rocky.
Yeah.
Who's left up here at the moment anyway?
In Sydney,
Yeah.
that's, I guess, yeah,
So
just
just you and Andy.
yeah, just Andy and myself will be up there and just put our heads down.
Yeah.
And that's like, I kind of been talking to everyone back home while I was away, and they're telling me how rainy and how horrible Melbourne is and how cold it is. And I'm like, oh gosh, that's where I'm going back to do my, like a bit of training. So it's like, Sydney hopefully will be a little bit better, and if we like need to fly up to Brisbane and do some stuff on that track, and maybe get some, if we need to get some times and do that sort of thing, like we've got so much data from Brisbane.
Yep.
So that's easy. And then a quick flight. We've done it before. You fly up for the day, do a ride, and fly home. So
okay.
there's there's options there, and then the new MacArthur track hopefully should be built soon. Like it got got a bit of a delay because of the rain. It was underwater. So yeah, hopefully if that can get done, and then we've got a Supercross track. They've got a 700 meter pump track there, and then Sean's gyms, which is all within 5 minutes of Andy's house.
So you're hard at it.
So it's a full training facility if it can all sort of come together.
Awesome.
Perfect.
We do have a little bit of product news.
We do have a little bit of product news. We've got some new hubs that have come out from Profile. We've been fortunate enough to be able to get them into stock here. They're about to be, we won't go to air until they are launched because we're under strict instructions not to release them to the public. So they are due to be launched on the 28th of this month, and we've got them in stock now. We've been able to get them out to quite a few stores, so when you're watching this they will be available in some stores around Australia. They're called the Profile Cat's Eye hubs, and what they are is a mini hub configuration with a 96 48?
Oh, look at me.
48.
48. Yeah, where did I get 96 from?
AC2s.
No, they're...
They're
Oh yeah,
48
they are
and
too.
96.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and they're virtually in the style of the old Totem hubs in the sense of they're similar to an elite body, quite smooth and everything, but with a mini driver in it. And they're very limited edition, and we should have a bit of a video from Matt Coplon that we can play very shortly and go a bit more in detail. But they're available in high polished and very limited numbers, so they are spread around Australia. So look up your local and grab a set because they'll go in the cabinet. I doubt very much there will be too many of them going on bikes, but they'll go in the cabinet as a bit of a collector's item. Matt Coplon's been running them for about 3 years. He had the prototype set, came up with the concept, and he said it just turns heads at all the skate parks. So yeah, just a little thing to keep an eye out for, and yeah, fortunately we've been able to piggyback on the world launch at Profile Racing on the 28th and get them in stock here prior to that. So as soon as they launch them in America, we've got them here in the stores already. So chase them down. Cat's Eye hubs.
Are you using them, Shane, or are you going to hide them?
I was planning on using them actually.
Oh, not now, because I just told you they've got to go in the cabinet. Yeah.
That's alright if you're paying.
What front ring you reckon you're going to run with a 9 on the back?
No, the old Profile build your own hub.
Oh, you can change them
So
up.
we can configure it any way you like.
Yeah,
Yeah, whether you want titanium axles, 18 tooth cogs, hex bolts, titanium bolts, whatever you want, we build them to suit. So however you want it, we'll make sure that you get it that way. That's just a sample set to show you how the hub shells are machined out.
So you haven't been around very long. There was a bit of a short run of people running, was it 25.9 in racing? And they're always blowing their chains out.
Yeah, destroying the chains.
Really?
Absolutely destroying them, yeah.
Not the teeth?
No, blowing the chains. I think it was because there's
Tight
such
radius.
a...
The tight radius.
Yeah, it's such a tight radius that there's not enough teeth, so it's just stretching links because it's, just not... Yeah.
Yeah, I think the bigger... the bigger rings do feel nice. Like, I'm not sure if it's a mechanical advantage or anything like that, but yeah.
Are you a dinner plate? Are you a dinner plate kind of guy? Big 50 something on the front and...
You have tried it?
I've done everything. I was running a 49 when I was away, but I will the gear over the look, if that makes sense. If I change, like if I want harder or easier, I'm happy to run whatever. Like I like the 17 on the back, so like the 46, 47. That's always worked well for me, but whatever the gear, whatever I need with the gear, it doesn't matter what's, like, I'm not fussed on the size.
Yeah.
No, easy. That's probably it.
It is probably it.
It's probably gone on long enough. I've got a phone call to make.
Probably too long.
No, easy.
Thanks, Max, for coming on.
Thanks very much,
Thank
and
you,
good
Ryan.
luck with everything, for
Thank
sure.
you.
Yeah.
Keep you updated.
Oh yeah, please do, and keep the YouTube clips coming, even if it is training YouTube clips.
Actually,
Yeah.
It's all good.
how can people see your clips that you've been posting on Instagram and YouTube and everything?
So it's the YouTube videos, or my Instagram is just my name, Max Cairns, and same as my YouTube, and the YouTube's in the bio of my Instagram, so it's all interrelated.
In your link tree.
In the link tree, exactly. So yeah, it's all there. Everything, just search my name. I feel like it's the easiest way.
Yeah.
No worries. Thanks very much, and thanks everyone for being patient because we haven't had an ECITV for some time.
It's been a while.
Things have been very, very busy, so hopefully we'll get back into a little bit more routine and come up with some new products and information and news
And interviews.
and interviews. So, thanks very much, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you.